Welcome to our morning show on a Monday. We kick off a busy week of morning shows. Today we focus on the River Valley School District. Joining us is River Valley District Administrator Loren Glasbrenner. We also have Carla Peterson here, River Valley Elementary Principal. We look forward to kind of spotlighting that and some screenings coming up here in January. Loren, here we go, end of the semester. How can that be?
Oh, it's amazing. Phil, it's great to be back. We're great to see you. It's an amazing thing because I talk to you at the end of summer, and then we go into a school fair. And from a school fair, we go into homecoming talks, and we have homecoming, and then we get into those fall sports, and I see it at football games, and I see it all those different things, and then we're kind of shooting for that big target of getting everybody through the fall and getting into the winter, and then we have Thanksgiving, and we come back from Thanksgiving, and we go for broke for a couple weeks, and pretty soon it's the holidays, and after the holidays, we come back. And we're in that space right now where we come back. We have a lot of testing. Mid-year testing happens for a lot of schools right around this time to kind of get that winter benchmark, we call it in education world. So we do those winter benchmarks now. And now really in January, February, and March, you get a lot of instructional academic time in as an educator. So we're really excited about that, but it's also some long weeks now, right? There aren't a lot of like big, we're going to have a break here or a break there. Kids are going to be at school now for a couple of months, working hard and really grinding into those academic skills. So we're excited about that. It's what we do in education. We're excited for that, but it's amazing. We went from, the school fairs and some of those county fairs. Now we're in midwinter and we're ready to go. And pretty soon I'll come back and we'll be talking about the end of the year. However, when you get to January, we also are focusing on what's next fall going to look like. So that's one of the things I really wanted Carla Peterson to talk to you about today, and you'll get to that later, is about registration and how to get a kid initiated into a program at a public school. So we're excited about that, and we're really getting ready for what even next year looks like already.
I was impressed that River Valley came back and actually went to school on the 2nd of January. Was that just because of how the calendar fell and to get the proper number of days in?
It is. It is about the proper number of minutes, actually, that we have to get in. So the Department of Public Instruction really pushes at us that we have to have a certain number of minutes per aged group. Carla's kids don't need as many minutes as our high school kids do by law, but we try to keep everybody K-12 on that same calendar. And so within that calendar, we had asked our educators at one point, hey, do you want to kind of go to school the Monday, Tuesday of the week prior to the holiday, meaning the 22nd and 23rd, or would you rather come back on January, on the Friday? So we really thought better to take one in the before or the after. And basically the teacher said, the kids are tapped out. By the time we get to December 22nd, kids are not thinking about school anymore. They're really ready to get home for the holiday. And because of that, and it being right at the beginning of a week, we chose as a district to bring them back on a Friday after they'd been home for 13 days. So they had been home. 13-day vacation is a nice long vacation, and it allowed us as educators to respect if families were still on vacation. That's fine. Bring them back the following Monday. But if they were available, we wanted them to come back and kind of remember about the rituals of school. Get them back into the flow. Get them back into the mindset of, come on into your classroom. This is what it's about. Get ready. And it allowed our schools to really go through some of that SEL or social emotional learning about what school is and how important school is. And so we came back on that Friday. I thought it was pretty successful. Although we always kind of walk in the door that day a little slower than always, it was a good day. And we came back on that Friday, and I think it was really successful. We got kids back, and then by Monday, we were ready to go with academics.
The last time you were here, Loren, you had some young men on. We're in the ensemble of your musical, and it sounds like that went really well.
Yeah, we had an incredible musical, as we always do. And at River Valley, the music department is an incredible department that continues to do just great things in band and choir. But we put on an incredible musical every fall into the winter. And this year, River Valley High School had a production of something called Something Rotten. And it was a great show. And I know many people always say, want to get there, but it's sold out. It does sell out those 4 performances really fast. But we held that up at the Touchstone Theater at American Players Theater, had a great night of music, great night of performance. And now those kids, just so we can announce too, have gotten awards from the Jerry Awards, which is a regional award where they bring high school musical seasoned people in. And in May, they'll get recognized at the Overture. So the winners are announced that will be a part of the Jerry Awards ceremony that takes place in June. June 7th at the Overture Hall. Congrats to a ton of kids that were in it. But if you remember, I had Grady here that day. I had Ryan here that day. I had Ryan Whitman as well as David Van Halgren. Both David and Ryan got recognized as outstanding lead performances. So did Grady. But Grady himself also got an outstanding dance performance nod. So for his interpretation of Shakespeare being kind of like, I don't know, he kept making a reference that he was kind of like one of the Neil Diamonds of the year, or, that kind of thing, where he really was a performer, kind of a mix of Neil Diamond and Elvis and all these different performers. He kind of tapped into that, and it was really incredible. So we're proud of this team. Those kids do great things, again, led by Sarah Young, Becky Schinker, and Michael Stanek, who do the stage direction and do the musical direction and do the choreography. We just are really proud of the great things that they do in the arts as well. So, yep. The Jury Awards will be coming out. And again, those are, from what I remember, the Jury Awards are special regional awards that are downtown Madison, part of a great celebration that is founded by Jerry Frauchi, who is a tremendous entrepreneur in the Jane County area, but has always extended that graciousness out to the region. And we've always gotten to be a part of this, and it'll be a great thing for us. And he's recently passed. And so an incredible human being that has done great things for Wisconsin and made sure that kids are a part of that recognition in the arts as well.
You had a music concert as well in December?
Always. Yeah, we always have December music concerts, and those were great. We had wonderful, all the way from 5 through 12, had music concerts in band and in choir, so those are fun to go to, and just kind of that gets everybody prepared for the season, if you will, and those were great things in December. And then we send the kids off to go home for the holidays, and then they come back. And so here we are back and ready to work.
Hitting the ground running.
Yes, we are, for sure. For sure.
Sports underway.
Yeah.
Just about every night. Right?
Yeah, just about every night. When you think of gymnastics, or you think about girls basketball, or you think about boys basketball, or you think about girls wrestling, or you think about boys wrestling, and then those kids are still involved in other things beyond that, in student council, or maybe they're in mock trial, or they're involved in all these different activities like FFA. All of those things fill up those kids' days. So yes, athletics and activities are busy times during the whole winter months, and they're longer seasons too. Sometimes you think of a volleyball season as going pretty short, but when you get to some of these other seasons that are now happening, they're long, good seasons. Tons of opportunity for people in our community to come on out. So just take a look at our website, rvschools.org, and you'll be able to find on that main page our calendar that's got all our activities there, and you'd be welcome to come on into any of those as a great spectator.
I always say the winter sports gets me through the winter.
It does. It sure does.
Something to look forward to.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Even when the roads get icier, it gets a little snowy out there, these are great things to keep us going and keep us busy in the evenings.
No doubt. Well, we want to kind of talk a little bit about the future, the future Blackhawks today.
Yeah, so we have Carla Peterson here, and again, we are ramping up for next year, and there's nowhere better to come to school than in 4K. And so Carla's going to talk about 4K. When I was a kid, 4K, that preschool idea was new, right? I was a kid of the 80s, and a lot of us didn't jump into 4K. We just went to 5K. It's become really popular to send your kid to 4K. So that's a 4-year-old kindergarten is really what that 4K stands for. Some parents don't do that, and then they come in new in 5K. But Carla's here to talk about all the processes and things that get a kid ready to come to school.
Well, good morning, Carla.
Good morning. I'm glad to be here with you today.
First time guests, we always force you to tell us a little bit about yourself, if you would.
Principal at River Valley Elementary for the last 7-8 years, and I taught in the Sauk Prairie School District for 24 years before that. So lived in Sauk Prairie all of my life, live between Sauk Prairie and Plain right now. So that's a little picture of me, but always in education. So that's something that has and the little people in education is kind of where my heart has always been.
That was my next question. Have you always been involved with the littles, so to speak?
Yeah, 2nd and 3rd grade is really where I spent a lot of my time teaching. I thought I was going to be a kindergarten teacher, and really ended up loving 2nd and 3rd grade. This job at River Valley has given me a chance to be with 4K through 4th grade until this year. And now this year, with our reconfiguration, I have 4K through 2nd grade in one building. And it is great to see all of these littles together. I say we have a very, very busy building. There is always something going on. Someone's shoe needs to be tied. Someone needs help with their mittens. Someone's zipper is stuck. There is always something going on in our building, but it is a great, positive, fun, buzzing, busy.
So with the transition from Plain coming to River Valley, how did the transition go?
It was a lot to be moved. It was a summer of, we say our littlest people classrooms have the most stuff. And so there was a lot of stuff that had to be moved from Plain to Spring Green, but we got it all done. We had a great summer team, got everything in. Teachers spent a lot of time getting their rooms set up and set up well, including the playground. Things were brought from Plain down to our playground at RVE, and some things were moved from our RVE playground over to Mr. Radke's new River Valley Intermediate School, just because of size of kids and needing to have that outdoor space. We've had to add a few extra pieces to make sure that we were really getting the kids all that they needed when they're outside playing, but it's been a great transition and is flowing really well right now.
What is the number one playground piece of equipment that the kids flock to right now?
Ooh, well, right now it's not a playground piece of equipment. It's the snow hill that was created by the snowplows.
Oh, it's still there, huh?
Oh, it's dwindling, but it has some nice little carved spots that become slides on our bottoms in our snow pants. Otherwise, they very much love. We have a large structure that has a number of bridges and slides coming off of it, and you can always find a large group of kids on that one.
Awesome. What does a typical 4K classroom look like these days?
4K classrooms are very busy and very full. Right now, we have between 18 and 19 kids in each of our 4K classrooms. River Valley has a full day 4K program all 5 days of the week, which only about a third of school districts in Wisconsin have. So we're lucky to have that in place. Kids come in, they might have breakfast at school. They have all of the kind of specials that we think of kindergarten, 1st grade, 2nd grade have. So they have music time, they have art, they have PE, but they're also learning through play. So our curriculum is delivered to kids. Yes, we're learning letters and numbers, we're learning to put those things together, but it's through play. And we also have a pretty strong component of social skills. Kids are learning how to do school in 4K. They're learning things like being patient enough to wait our turn, or how to get in a line to go from one space to another safely, how to put on all of our winter snow gear ourselves, because with one teacher and one assistant, 18 kids putting on snow gear at once, they've got to be pretty self-sufficient. So many of those pieces go into our day. The rooms are bright. There's lots of color. There's lots of things to see in them. You'll find a carpet area in one space. You'll find table areas. And then you'll find kind of that free play space that might be a kitchen or a donut shop set up, or things that really promote their imagination as well.
That's awesome. What about Bluey? Is Bluey number one?
There are lots of Bluey backpacks and lots of things that Bluey is very popular at that age.
I like sure. Bluey. Yeah.
It's pretty amazing, and I guess Carla sees it every day, but one of the things that I take note of, every year at the beginning of the year, I bring new teachers into River Valley, and we tour every building, and as anybody who hasn't been in an elementary for a while, maybe a middle schooler, a high school, or even intermediate school teacher, they come into a 4K classroom, and they are amazed at the amount of things that has to be there to make sure that the day runs smoothly. And so you can't take anything for granted, ever, in 4K or 5K for that matter. So they really are, when Carla's speaking to this, if you say, yeah, we're teaching kids how to do school, well, that means there's got to be a spot on a carpet that they know is their spot. There has to be a spot on a line that they know, oh, there's the spot for the line leader. Oh, we need to learn, remember, we're doing numbers 1 through 20 today. What's our final number today? There is a spot so that the kid can look up and find the number line and the alphabet line and the sound line. And there are so many things that these teachers have prepared for these classrooms. It's beyond what you probably can imagine. So again, if you ever want to see something like that, come on over. We'll show you. It's an incredible thing to go into a 4K or a 5K classroom.
No doubt. I presume there's never been a typical day, right? Everything is different.
That is for sure. Everything is different. And we realize that we're teaching so many things. At the beginning of the year, you'll see a lesson on how to use a glue stick, how to use your scissors. All of those things that become part of school do have to be taught. And so I give so much credit to our 4K, 5K teachers, because some of those things I wouldn't have even thought of, and they have them just built right into their day and how they move through the weeks.
And you want to promote screening today. So give us the timeline of that when that's happening.
Yeah, we have a couple things going on right now. We are collecting enrollment. So anyone that has a 4K for next year, so turning 4 by September 1st of 2026, can visit our website and fill out, there's an enrollment button there that you click and can fill that out. That gives us some information, and it makes sure that we can send emails out. We have a few great things going on. A parent night in March that really invites all of those new parents in to understand what does 4K look like. They get to see the classrooms. I'm there to answer questions. Our teachers are there to answer questions. And the goal for that night is really parents feeling comfortable with, okay, I'm going to send my 4-year-old off to school. What does it look like? The other big piece that we have in March is our child find screening. So anyone that lives in the River Valley School District and has a 2.5 to 4-year-old that they might have some concerns about. Maybe they're afraid that their child's speech is not developing on time. Maybe there's something else that they're worried about. They can call River Valley Elementary. We'll set them up with a time to come in on March 25th, and our early childhood team will be there to do some assessments. They do them in a very play-based way. So they'll take some time with your child, really look at whether this is an area of concern or not. And if it is, then we start to look a little deeper into that and what can we do to help this child.
I see. So then you kind of can branch off if there is a concern and kind of get them in the right professional person then.
Absolutely. And some of those we have right within our district, our speech and language therapists, our occupational therapists, our physical therapists, all are here within our school district. And our early childhood teacher as well, who is very trained in beginning some of those things with kids too. So
I wonder how you get them to come out of their shell, because I remember my own kids and my grandkids, they say the cutest things, but then when they get to screening, how do you get them to talk? You know?
That is always a chore. We also in the summer bring in all of our 4Kers, our new 4Kers to do something similar as well. And first of all, the team that we have assembled is amazing. Their abilities to make kids feel comfortable. The smiles on the adults' faces make all the difference. The space that we're bringing the kids in is very child-centered. So it really does start to help those kids feel a little more comfortable in the space, comfortable sharing and opening up. Some of them take a whole lot more cajoling and working with to get them to open up. Some of them walk in the door ready to chat, to talk, and tell us all of the things. But sometimes we have to take some a little more one-on-one, spend a little more time getting to know them, really noticing the things about them, what their favorites are. Any child, even up through a high schooler, if you start to get to know a little bit about them, what their favorite things are, and you start asking them about those things, you can draw that child out when they start to feel comfortable.
Sure. Get the right subject.
It's really important that Carla hits home on this because I guess from a systems view, because I'm the superintendent guy and I get to kind of play this, we can't take for granted how important it is for those first steps into our school district. And when she says, yes, we have speech and language technicians, we have occupational therapists, we have physical therapists, we have special educators, we've got early childhood educators there, we even probably have second language learning educators there. All of that is provided for you in a public school. And that's the big piece of public schools have to provide that free, appropriate public education to anybody. Every child has that opportunity in public education. And I think having that be such a sound, incredible, wonderful, play-based thing for those kids as they come in is the foundation of public education. And I just want people that are, worried about their taxes and worried about why we have to do this. Well, we have to, number one, it's in legislation, but it's also what's good for kids. And 4K is something that we've really tried to recently expand, and I wanted Carla to kind of hit on that. Some districts do 4K in a different way, and I want her to make sure she shares how we do 4K at River Valley, how many days a week, how long is it, and all that kind of stuff too.
Sure.
Yeah. So last few years, we've had a 4-day program. So we didn't have 4K on Wednesday, but Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. This year we expanded and we have all 5 days a week. So those 4Kers come in on the same schedule as our kindergarten through 12th graders do. They come in every morning on the buses, they leave on the buses, and we have filled their day. We do have a little rest time in the afternoon because 4-year-olds are adjusting to that. But we fill their day with not only academics, but a lot of play and a lot of that time to be imaginative. Many districts have a half-day program and they provide wraparound care the other half a day, but only about a third of the districts in the state of Wisconsin offer that full-day space, and not all of them offer it 5 days a week. Some might offer 2 or 3 days a week in that space. So River Valley really has something special that a lot of districts have not provided.
Yeah. Full day, 5-day, 4K is something that a lot of people have been reluctant to do because they weren't sure if kids could handle it for all those times. And of course, we have families that don't jump in 4-year-olds and they jump back into us in 5-year-old times with kindergarten. But again, that full day being play-based and having rest embedded in it and having really sensitive and appropriate skills and things based for those kids, it's been really successful in our year of trying it out. We had heard in our region that it's really hard to find childcare. It's really hard to find a space for your kid once they get to that way. And by the time your 4-year-old, getting them into social skills and getting it into a play-based kind of atmosphere where they can be around other children their same age at their same developmental level is a really good thing. And so we believe in it so much that we turned it into a 5-day, full day, 4K. And it's something that we had space for, but it's also really what's appropriate and good for kids.
If someone is not in the district, do they have to school choice to go to 4K, or can they just join?
They can open enroll. So following all of the state's and open enrollment policies, you do have to apply for open enrollment. We have had the space and we don't turn people away in open enrollment for 4K. So every year we have a handful of families that do choose to open enroll in for our program, especially once we've been 5 days a week and that full day. I think a lot of parents look at it as a great way to get their kiddo started in school, as well as makes up for, as Loren said, that missing piece of daycare in our area. It's just tough to find.
We'll come back and talk a little bit more about it. River Valley School District, our focus here today. Carla Peterson and Loren Glasbrenner, our guests on The Morning Show. Today we put the spotlight on the River Valley School District, and Loren Glasbrenner, we put him on the hot seat every month. Good to have you back in the studio with us again, my friend.
Thank you, sir.
Youth apprenticeship, we wanted to kind of chat about that a little bit.
Yeah, so Carla Peterson's here, and she's done such a great job. I could have never done what she just did about explaining early childhood like she did. So thank you to Carla for being here, but that's one spectrum of how we get kids into our district, how they come in as 4-year-olds and how we are going to shape them and mold them to be the best future citizens around us in our communities. But we also have to keep an eye on the prize and make sure that we're getting them ready to leave us as well. We have about, half of the kids that will go on to a college, whether that's 2-year or 4-year college, and they'll go into that. But we also have another half of our graduates that want to go into apprenticeships, go into the workforce, or go into the service. And so we're always trying to make sure that in their junior and senior year, we're keeping that learning in a fast pace to make sure they stay engaged in their 12 years, and especially that 11th and 12th year, making sure that we have great electives offered at our high school, but also making sure those opportunities start to show them work-based learning. So there is something that we have in Wisconsin that is just better than most. In the state of Wisconsin, Department of Workforce Development has what we call youth apprenticeship. And a youth apprenticeship is only for juniors and seniors as they explore a chosen career field. It's kind of the earn while you learn thing out there. And it gets kids into great activities and real-world experiences. So we have just a huge program of that in our southwestern corner of Wisconsin too. A lot of that is run through our CISA, but you have to have a really good team that helps you get those kids engaged and keeps them supported, because you can't just shove them off into a business and expect that everything's going. There's got to be curriculum and tasks and, frankly, paperwork that follows that kid back and forth from this work-based learning. Youth apprenticeship program areas, and I'm going to read them off, even though it sounds like it's crazy. We have them in agriculture, so they could work out on a farm or in any kind of industrial way, but it's also in food and natural resources, architecture, construction, the arts, business admin, education, finance. So you might see a kid from high school working at your local bank. You might see it in government or public administration, health sciences, hospitality, out in a hotel or in a restaurant, human services, IT and information technology, possibly in law, public safety, public corrections, manufacturing. So in any of our local businesses where we have lots of people on the line, we can have youth apprenticeships there. We could have it in marketing. We could have it in science, technology, engineering, mathematics, and maybe even in transportation. So all of these are core areas that you could get prepared for your future years as a junior and senior at high school to get out there, try it on, and earn while you learn.
It's so nice because, we're always clamoring for more workers in the workforce. To get a few hours from a student in the afternoon or whenever it works into the schedule, that's got to help out the business community too, doesn't it?
We sure hope so. So we hope that it's helping the community in that sense and helping those businesses fill in those holes, and probably also getting that kid just initially involved in your business. If they get out there and it's been a successful apprenticeship, it's most likely someone that'll be a future employee for that business. And so I want to just give a shout out to our CTE team. River Valley's lucky to have just quite a team with Mr. Mahoney in business. In technical education, we've got Carla Carmody, Robbie Jacobson, TJ Wanacke, and then in agriculture, we've got Sherry Graffunder. They are overseeing all of those juniors and seniors as they're going out into our local businesses. So if you have a high schooler that's kind of getting toward the end of their high school career, but you want them to really try on this new thing, maybe try on a business before they spend a lot of time educating themselves in that in a 2 or 4 year degree, this is a great opportunity for those kids to kind of just dive in and explore. And it's kind of risk-free because it's under the IDs of, or kind of supervision of, the school district still.
Yeah, we've talked to Sherry Graffunder, and she has actually brought students in here with her
Absolutely.
To talk about it. But it's amazing. And then a lot of times they're working not only credits for posts, but they're also getting a little money in their pocket.
They are. It is a requirement that they get paid at least minimum wage, and they do get credits for it as well. So when I talk about that paperwork, that's the curriculum that follows the kid. So let's say I leave and I want to go to LICO and I want to continue my growth out there. There's got to be someone at that business that continues to oversee me as an apprentice. And then I'm recording what I'm doing. I'm putting in my hours almost like in a time clock situation, but I'm also reflecting on what am I learning? What am I getting from this job skill? What am I realistically taking on as a youth, but also kind of thinking about that this might be a future task that I would love to continue to do in my future.
Are there school districts across the state of Wisconsin doing similar things?
Yeah, every school district has youth apprenticeships. You just got to have enough staff to oversee it, and some do it bigger than others. In our region, Center does it well, Ithaca does it well, Valley does it well, Riverdale does it well. So you're really surrounded by some districts here in southwestern Wisconsin, Phil, that do youth apprenticeships really well and invest a lot of time and money in it because it's what our kids want and what our communities need.
Yeah, I mean, years ago, I don't know if you would have thought this was the future of education, at least, K through 12, right?
Yeah, K through 12. And you knew it during the 80s, and we've talked about this before, in the 70s, 80s, it was a push. Everybody's going to college. The way to get, your next generation to be successful was go off to college, whether it was a state college or a 2-year program. And we've seen a lot of our 2-year programs, like the one that was here in Richland Center, now close because we've had such an insurgence of technical colleges. So this is another way that you could make that bridge between a school district and a technical college while you're doing an apprenticeship. So there's a lot of space in here where we in public education have been asked to make sure that the kids are ready for those apprenticeships and ready for the workforce, just like we have kids ready for that 4-year institution.
Right. And you work closely with Southwest Tech, I'm guessing?
We do. We have some kids that make a cooperative agreement with Madison College from River Valley, and we also have some that go to Southwest Tech. So we're kind of right in the middle of those things, and we're able to make it work either way.
Carla, you've seen the chance to maybe incorporate some of these students into the elementary, I'm sure, haven't you?
We have one student right now that is working with our before and after school program, and so is doing that youth apprenticeship through that program. It's been a great place for her to really actually earn some extra money and do something that she loves while learning from our master that runs the program.
Well, tell me about the after-school program. How does that work?
We have a before and after-school program. Opens at 6:30 in the morning and keeps kids until breakfast time, until we start heading into our day, and then after school runs from our after school time till 5:30. It just allows parents a little extra time on either end. We have a lot of parents that are driving to Madison for jobs, things like that. So this extends their school day a little bit. The program is run by Jennifer Moore Kerr, and she's got a great program that really they are hands-on, they are playing outside, they are creating, they are imagining. It is not it's for our younger kids, so it's not really a homework space in that, we're going to sit down and do homework for an hour. It's really a hands-on what kids need at the end of a long school day.
So it's not just screen time or sitting and watching videos?
No screen time.
Oh, no. If you know Jennifer Moore Kerr, you would not say the word screen time, Phil. You would know that it's about creativity. You'd know that it was about the earth. You'd know that it's about the outside in our outdoor spaces. You'd know that putting kids with kids in a play-based learning situation so that they are part of conversations and part of interaction is what Jen's all about. So we have an incredible before and after school program with almost an anti-screen time philosophy on it that really puts kids into play and about socialization and about comfort and safety and care.
It's probably music to the ears of the parents, isn't it?
It definitely is, and it's just a great supportive environment for the parents as well. They know their child is going to be fed, know their child is going to be well cared for, and going to be entertained, and it's not just put that screen in front of them.
And I think we talked about the daycare situation too, but I mean, it's really tough. My wife runs a daycare, but to find someone to watch your children maybe for an hour or two after school or before, it's really tough to find someone to do that, isn't it?
It is very difficult. Jen runs an amazing program. I wish that we could open it up to even more kids than we have, but space does limit kind of what we can provide. Our school district and the school board has been extremely supportive of the program, really making sure that we've had what we needed to give the kids what they need and parents that leeway on both ends of the day.
We talked about 4K, Carla, but 5K, is that similar to what we used to know as kindergarten, or can you describe that for us?
It's very different than the kindergarten I went to. Loren and I are about the same age, so I went to a half-day kindergarten, and that was about it. But our kindergarten is full day, of course. It has been for many years, and we are focused a lot on that alphabet, on learning to read is, I would say, our biggest piece in kindergarten. Of course, it's done through a lot of play as well. There's the learning lots of different knowledge, having that time for creativeness and imagination, all rolled into our 5K. Many of our students start with us for 4K and roll right into 5K, but we do have some parents that choose to keep their kids home or are at a different center or things like that. So our enrollment that is open now on the district website is also for those kiddos. So if you chose to do 4K in a different space or with a daycare, you just hit that enrollment button and you can get signed up, and then we'll have you ready for our 5K next year as well.
It'd be nice if the workplaces were designed like, 5K, where you could maybe take a nap, if you needed to, or, right?
Maybe be fabulous.
That would be great.
So you still have nap time, and
in 5K we don't have a rest time as it is, but we do definitely have some times of the day that are just a little calmer, a little slower. We call it quiet time when they come in from recess. We actually do that in first and second grade as well. Recess is exciting and lots of fun, and it just allows them 10 minutes or so in maybe some quiet music, some lights down a little bit low, to readjust and bring ourselves back into that learning space.
The rest of the grades, though, that are at River Valley Elementary, things are kind of accelerated now because they do learn a lot of things earlier than they used to, right?
It does. It really does feel like that. Our kindergartners are reading, especially reading CVC, or we say consonant, vowel, consonant words, so cat, bat, mat, those kinds of things. And they're really sounding that out, putting those together, starting to read books by second semester, and simple sentences, things like that. Not necessarily things that we were all doing in kindergarten. I think that was a lot of first grade for many of us, that we were really focused on that reading piece.
Dick and Jane books.
Absolutely.
Yep, there you go.
There we go. But it is in kindergarten, and we have a great curriculum that we actually are using 4K through 5th grade in our English language arts. So it really ties together. It gives them a lot of background knowledge about the world, as well as systematically teaching them to read and learn all of those sounds and how to put them together, and all of those pieces of the very tricky English language.
That's for sure. It's interesting you say that, Phil, because we just had a parent over the holidays, so it would have been a book that was sent home from school. It was a kindergartner, and it was their parent saying, my daughter read me a book for the first time in her life and in my life, having a child read to me. And the parent put a big old smiley face and then put a teardrop there. Like, it was just such a touching, sentimental experience for the parent to finally have their kindergarten reader speaking to them and reading page for page. And that's the experience we want every parent to have, is that we're getting through that developmental spectrum of making sure that every kid feels good about learning, and that they're getting to these big goals that we have set for them now in kindergarten, first, second, and third grade.
What a really nice moment, that's for sure.
Yeah.
With the screening you talked about, Carla, you probably have to make sure the parents are ready. Sometimes maybe the student's more ready than the parents, right? Especially if it's your first one.
Always. And that's one of the things, by getting into that enrollment list from our website, we do have a parent meeting for new 4K parents on March 10th at 6 p.m. And we really kind of walk through, what does it look like in 4K, and what are some skills that you might want to be working on with your child over the summer, talking more about independent skills, like, can I open my own lunchbox, things like that, to have them really ready for school. We don't have any expectation that kids walk into 4K knowing letters or numbers or things like that. Some do, some don't, and we take them all wherever they are. The other big thing is that child find screening that we have scheduled for March 25th, and that's super important too. So if you have a 2.5-year-old to a 4-year-old and have any concerns about their development, not sure if they're on target for speaking, for moving, any of those pieces, giving the elementary a call and scheduling an appointment on that morning. Our professionals will be there to really take a look at your child, chat with you, and we'll let you know if there's something that we can do to help your child.
All the info is there on the website then?
It is all there on our website.
Great. We hope people will take advantage of that. Have you read any good books lately, Loren?
It's interesting. I was just at a business and education summit again in a book that I brought to you, I think it was last year, called The Anxious Generation.
Yes.
We were trying to share that. Again, it was an educator sharing that to the businesses, making sure that they understand that we are addressing the fact that we have an entire anxious generation that's out there that has spent probably too much time in technology, and we're trying to teach them the people skills at public schools as well, because we're hearing a lot from our businesses that the young adults that are coming out are forgetting how to converse, how to interview, how to make sure that they're having great conversations while they are working. And so we're trying to make sure that those social, emotional, those speech and language, those real conversive things that we need in every adult are still a big part of their school day too. So I would say, I think the author is Haight, H-A-I-G-H-T. And again, The Anxious Generations, great book out there. And it's a good book that really looks at not our littlest ones now. It's a whole generation that's kind of between the ages of 8 and 18 that have been immersed into technology and sometimes often immersed too much, that we've allowed technology to do care for the child and superseded the adult interaction.
Well, and a lot of blame goes to, COVID and when, we were
absolutely
shut down virtually and things like that.
Yep, but the future is still bright. I mean, I don't ever want people to think it's doom and gloom at school. We are so excited for the opportunity every day to have these kids come to our district because we get to really shape the future of tomorrow. And I try to say every time I'm here, Phil, it's the best job in the world to be in education. And I have an incredible district that I'm just proud to be a part of, and that we will do whatever we can to make sure that the communities around us feel honored by the fact that their kids go to River Valley.
I think that every generation says it, like kids these days, and they don't work like they used to. But I get into some of the schools and I see some of the amazing things and some of the singing,
Yes.
and some of the abilities. It's just amazing. I think the future is pretty bright.
The future is very bright. When you see people that are working with the littlest learners, if you could come and see some of our littlest ones, they're just incredible little people. And then you get to see them on the other spectrum. You get to see like a Grady Graham that comes, who's a student council president. He's a football player. He's a singer, and he's doing the musical. We have all of those great things for all these kids, whether they're coming in at age 4 and leaving us at 18. There's just great things happening in our school. So get out there, support your local public schools for sure.
Indeed. Carla, good to meet you and to have you on the morning show today as well. And we talked briefly about COVID, but I'm guessing, this now you're kind of past that. That had to be a challenging thing at the lower levels. But now these kids don't know anything about that, right?
You're right. And our kindergartners, our 4Kers, were either born in the midst of it or right after it. So it really is not in their brains at all as anything. It was a tough time to get through. And with the littles, it's hard to do an online class when you're 5. I have to give our teachers, again, creative ways to be creative, which we had to do at that point in time, but are so glad that we get them in our school and with us now.
And you've been in education long enough. Can you see a child at like kindergarten age? That kid's a future radio announcer or anything? I mean, can you figure out what they're going to do?
Oh, most definitely. Most definitely. There are some of them that we take a look at and we can see where they're going. Maybe that's a negotiator. We have a few of those.
Yes,
we have a few that we've said, that one's going to be president of something.
Or a salesman or whatever.
Definitely.
Sure.
Definitely.
Well, thanks for what you do. We appreciate it. You bet. Carla Peterson joining us, River Valley Elementary Principal, and Loren Glasbrenner, District Administrator. Come back and see us next month. I know you will.
I will. I'll be here with bells on. Happy to always come and visit you, Phil.
Sounds good. We'll have more on the morning show tomorrow.